Memory fades, especially as you get older, but if something makes a deep enough impression on you, you will tend to remember it despite the years, often with clear recall, sharp precision. I can remember building a boat, following plans from Popular Mechanics magazine, in the garage over a winter with my dad, and later racing it in its division and winning by a wide margin, which was fortunate because I ran out of gas near the end and coasted over the finish line. No one ever had to sell me on the importance of a pilot's checklist after that. I remember the 1980 Lake Placid Winter Olympic Games, not so much for the so-called miracle on ice victories of the U.S. hockey team, especially over the highly favored Russians. More than that, I remember the young man with tousled brown hair who showed up in a gold racing suit and won 5 speed skating gold medals, sweeping that series, something that had not been done before and has not been accomplished since. That young man was Heiden. He grew up in Minnesota, so he played a lot of hockey. A coach suggested that he give speed skating a try, and he took to it. Something about it agreed with him in ways that hockey did not. Maybe it was the solo nature of it instead of the team. When it was clear he was more than casually interested, studying track charts at home, his father told him, "If you want to be a champion, you have to train like a champion. There are no shortcuts." Much of what a father says is like memory. It drifts away like your frosty breath on the winter air, whipped by the wind. But Heiden took his father's words to heart. He devoted his life to his training. He practiced his stroke, his turns, he honed the blades of his skate and the strategy for each race, and he forged his body into a racing machine. When it was time for the 1980 Winter Olympics, Heiden was 6 feet 1 inch tall. He weighed 185 pounds. He had a 32-inch waist, and he had 29-inch thighs. I think that bears repeating. He had a 32-inch waist and 29-inch thighs. His thighs looked like big country hams. I was shocked when I heard that, so much so that I had to tell someone else, see their reaction to that incredible dimension. I told him, he considered it, and said, "I bet he had tailor-made pants." So there's a radiant example that different people have different what they call takeaway, don't they? Anyway, Heiden won his first race, the 500, where his coach thought he might be the most vulnerable because he had the power and efficiency, but not quite the turnover rate for a sprint. But he made a great final turn and accelerated through the finish to win. Then he won the 5,000 meters despite a wobble when he hit a crack in the ice. He headed the 1,000 and the 1,500 in almost routine fashion, leaving only the 10,000. He stayed up late, celebrating the U.S. hockey victory over Russia, arrived at the track in time for his race with no warm-up, and fell far behind in his pairing, but his coach advised him to stick to his splits and not chase after his opponent. The rival blew up, Heiden passed him and won, setting a world record to go with his 4 Olympic records. And in short order, at the age of 21, he retired from competitive speed skating. He took up cycling, qualified for the Tour de France, entered with the goal of finishing, but crashed and went out on the 18th stage of the race. That interest began to wane when he entered the School of Medicine at Stanford University. His father was a doctor. Heiden became an orthopedic surgeon specializing, not surprisingly, in sports medicine, working with the U.S. skating team and the cycling teams, especially with knees and shoulders, and maybe some advice and encouragement from a fellow who knew a thing or 2 or 5 about winning big races. He married a doctor, has a family, and I wonder a little what Heiden remembers when he thinks back on that young man with the tousled brown hair and the gold suit at the 1980 Winter Olympic Games at Lake Placid. Does he recall all that training, each moment of each final race? I'm positive that the seed of it all is still fresh in his mind like a guiding light, the words of his father, simple and true, applicable to all endeavors. If you want to be a champion, you have to train like a champion. There are no shortcuts. 32-inch waist, 29-inch thighs, tailor-made pants, maybe extra large sweats, cut off or cuffed at the bottom.